World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Hey, what's happening? What's up?
Good afternoon. This is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, The Art of War. I hope all is well with you, and hope that those who like this type of weather, when I say this type of weather, it's not very cold. A lot of people miss the cold and the snow. I don't. But nevertheless, we all worry about global warming. So sometimes when it's warm, when it's supposed to be cold, people also have worries. But I guess we have to take it one day at a time. I have a guest today who is a brother that I met actually last year, but it seems like I've known him for some time. He's a master photographer and an internationally award-winning photographer who has traveled around the world taking photos. And I worked with him last year with the synagogue project that we have been working on through the Tourism Board for some time now. Well, for about a little over a year, and made arrangements for him to go and take photos in Senegal, which at some point we might develop some sort of showing of those photos, because they're the ones that I've seen actually are wonderful. But I would like you to welcome Robert Eilets, the award-winning photographer and now the official photographer for the Harlem Tourism Board. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Tony. I'm having a great deal of difficulty in hearing you. I don't know if you are receiving me with adequate sound, but You're
I can
coming through very faint.
I can hear you very well. Matter of fact, you're very clear. I'm not sure why I'm not, but I guess we're going to have to. You know how it is when you're live. You have to go with what you got to go with. Can you hear me at all?
Very faintly, very, very faintly.
Okay. Well, tell us about yourself. Give us a little information about you. Can you hear that?
Tony,
Are you on your
didn't catch
phone?
the last part of what you said.
I want to have you give the listeners information about who you are.
Again, the sound communications is very, very bad. I can't hear you.
At all. Okay, let me see. Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
All right. So, and you've checked your sound on the phone?
The sound is at the optimum.
Okay, maybe lower it a little bit and see, does that work?
I don't think it's any better.
Okay, well, I'm going to do as best that I can to try to allow for people to know who you are. I'm going to send you a text and try to do this at the same time. This is what happens when we're live. Uh, Live TV, you have to be able to compensate for whatever the issues are. Robert is an internationally known photographer. He is an award-winning photographer and has been uh, around the world. His camera has allowed for him to uh, go to very exotic locations, which has allowed for him to meet extremely well-known individuals and taking their photos. I met Robert last year at an event, and actually, it seems like I've known him all my life. Let me try to see what I can do in order to help. I'm sure he's frustrated because he can't hear me, but I wanted Robert to be on one to allow for you to know who he is, which is going to be a little difficult to do based on um, where we are. Robert has had the opportunity last year to visit Senegal. We're doing a lot of work in Senegal, and we have been creating a way for African and Caribbean Americans to uh, start to visit Africa again, and I guess to return, because many have not had that opportunity based on, I suppose, colonization and the like. So, in doing so, we have developed relationships, contacts in Africa. We've created partnerships with an African tour agency, Ravina Tours, and have made some contacts with people, actually Americans who have uh, relocated to Senegal to do business and the like. So, in talking with Robert, and we started talking about the project, he indicated that of all of the African places that he's been to, Senegal was one that he had not gone to. And I was able to make the arrangements with some of our contacts there to have Robert go and do a 10-day photo shoot, uh, which at some point we will what we will do is to really make sure that we uh, have an exhibit. So probably in Harlem, I have a couple of places in mind so that people will be able to see the beauty of Africa. Actually, I had sent a couple of images, but I'm not sure whether or not those images we'll be able to use because Robert cannot hear anything, which is kind of unfortunate because but Matt heard me. That's one of Robert's images uh, when he was in Senegal. And he has so many more that there's one, I believe, of an African woman, and there's one, which is this one, which uh, again is uh, the colors are really outstanding. And then I believe there's another one that I said, yeah, this is uh, kind of capturing uh, a day on the beach in Senegal. And really, where this is not too far from a friend who is now a member of the tourism board who lives in Africa. She's from California, but she has a restaurant and a beachfront uh, a house. And Robert, her name is Sunny Moore, and she's a designer. And Robert, she was the one to help Robert when he was there uh, last year to take photos. And one of the things, and I couldn't find the photo, and we can't speak, and Robert is kind of being mute. I appreciate his patience there, but uh, there's a number of different types of. I mean, Senegal is basically Islamic, but there are also a great number of Christians there. And what I found interesting, we live together.
I'm on.
Oh, okay. How are you doing? How did you make your magic?
I don't know if it's magic. Just fishing around, but we're good now.
Well, Robert, I was one kind of giving, like I was doing, like at the Apollo, when the acts are on, you got to constantly uh, keep dancing until you can come on. So I was doing dancing, talking about your trip to Senegal, and also talking about your camera, which is taking you around the world. Um, what we should do, though, is I would like for, besides talking about you as a master photographer, just to give a little information about who you are. Could you just give a little background on you, brother?
Yeah. Again, in terms of my involvement with photography, it began as an avocation. It was not something that I was professionally trained in per se. My background is in finance, but I've always had a fascination with photography and travel. And
Robert, you have a backdrop, but the backdrop, we don't really see you. You're doing kind of like an invisible man thing, so it's every so often I see a piece of your face. Maybe you should go back to not having the backdrop so that we can see you. All right. And it's interesting too. Um, well, I guess the cameras are different. Robert is a master photographer, but it seems that that would be the last person that would have difficulties. But in technology, no matter who you are, no matter how advanced that you might be, Murphy's Law will always come and bite you. Uh, there have been sessions with Bill Gates having similar types of problems. So the important thing, however, is to allow for you to know that the Harlem Tourism Board has undertaken a number of different areas of focus, but on the international area of focus, we have concentrated, at least last year, solely on developing a relationship and foundation in Senegal for those who want to travel there for business or for pleasure. Uh, Church groups, business organizations, fraternities, and the like uh, have interest, but sometimes it's not always uh, a way to create and plan these trips going home. I created a program, Art War uh, Travel and Tours, as a consultant group, actually to be a part of the tourism board's initiative to have more African and Caribbean Americans from its international plane to go uh, back home. It has been an interesting journey, and this year we've been talking to Ghana to do something similar. Ghana is a place that many people have uh, been familiar with based on the fantastic campaign that they did in 2019 that allowed for individuals of the diaspora to return home. There were ways of getting citizenship and dual citizenship, and it was very successful. But the pandemic kind of watered it down a little bit, and now they're starting to re come home advertisement and marketing. And I have been uh, uh, fortunate enough to have created through the tourism board initiatives in the northern region of Ghana, which is a place that is not as familiar. Hey, Robert, can you hear me? Okay, keep on dancing. We'll, you know the Murphy is working real good today. But nevertheless, as I was saying, the northern region is another location that in 2023 or 2024 we plan to do a similar type of program and bring more African and Caribbean Americans there. Robert, can you hear me now?
Uh, Again, yeah, I'm hearing you very poorly.
Okay. Whatever you did, try to do it again. I'm still dancing to try to keep it going.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to work with both the phone and my desktop,
Right.
and the reading that I'm getting is that the host can add you to the broadcast at any time. So I don't know whether or not it's on my end or your end, but it indicates that there is a need for the host to actually have me be part of this whole process.
Okay. Well, again, I gotta just kind of keep going. I think our host, which is the CEO, Matt McCoy, might have heard you and may be looking to give you some information as to what you might be able to do. I am uh, not able to see that. and we are where we are at this particular point. But nonetheless, I was talking about the tourism board's African initiative, and that's how. And if Robert, if we could talk, it would be more interesting because he has a lot uh, to talk about as relates to not only what we were doing in Senegal and Ghana, but what he's been doing in many different countries there as well as in Asia and other places. Some of the other things that we're looking at, though, while I'm still dancing and making this up as I go, uh, we're working on developing our website, developing it. The goharlem.org website is now in the process of being revised. And the whole concept of that is to allow for the site to be able to, I'm not sure what's happening, allow for the site to be able to be a one-stop shop for all of the uh, uh, people who are interested in the hospitality and tourism uh, industry in the Harlem area. So that is a project that will entail a lot of different pieces to it. The schools, the colleges, City College, Columbia University, um, and a number of other civic organizations to plug in to create a situation where we will have a site that will be an economic development engine in this hospitality and tourism industry, so that those who are on the site will begin to have opportunities of people knowing who they are, knowing how to get to them, and understanding how to have an interface no matter where they may be in the world. And this is extremely important because Harlem Week, which I'm a co-founder of and is going into its 49th year, I'm proud to be a part of that movement. Just last year, uh, had about 10 events because it was somewhat scaled down based on COVID, and it's starting to rebound, but it's still not how it used to be, almost a month, the longest week in history. However, um, the marketing and promotion components of that, let's just say a month long activity, received over 1 billion hits as relates to people hearing commercials, hearing, and that was based on a report that was put together by the PR firm that works with Harlem Week. The thought pattern is that if a month can create that type um, of activity, then what would happen if you had a site 24/7 that would be able to do the same thing? And how will that impact on the restaurants, the events that take place, the many events that take place, and the like? So that's a major initiative, but it is one that we feel that could be very important
paid $1,000 a month, if not more,
creating.
just from this app on my phone.
I'm not
I don't
sure
know if you can see this.
what happened there, but nevertheless, anyway, I think that we've kind of stretched wherever we are going to stretch, And I would like to thank those who have tuned in. I hope I shared some information with you about what's happening with the tourism board, how you might be able to get involved. You can go to goharlem.org. I'd like to thank Soul City for allowing us to have this attempt to make these things happen. But again, when you are going live, sometimes things happen to kind of throw you off. So what I'm going to do is to end this show earlier because I'm not the star. Robert was, but we can't get to him. So we're going to end. Hopefully, at some point, I would like to bring Robert back in order to make sure that this person who is one of the most renowned photographers in the world. I'm so sorry that we were not able to have the type of dialogue that I wanted to have with him. But we will again, as they say, all things happen for a reason. And you can see all of his pictures behind him. We wanted to talk a little bit about those. Each one, I'm sure, has a story to it. But at this point, what I'm going to do is to sign off a little early, and hopefully we can be able to do this again at another date. So on behalf of Urbanology Systems, Soul City, I would like to thank everybody for your patience and understanding. And what we'll do is to come back next week. It is an interesting young man that we'll be interviewing who has actually 3 books out. And is a City College grad and for many, many moons ago when I was there. But now is doing a number of wonderful things. So we'll be back next week, and hopefully we will see Robert again sometime in the near future. At least you know what he looks like. So when you see him, you'll be able to say, hey, we want to see you again. Okay, thank you. This is Tony Rogers. I'm going to sign off early, and hope to see you next week.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
The